Hey! Yeah, I've been making YouTube videos for years and I still have no idea how to light it. Look, you can see that shadow on my face. It's horrible. I don't know what I'm doing still. Time for my Halloween special. That's definitely late. I don't know how late. I'm currently recording this on the Sunday before Halloween. It is currently the 27th. Let's see what happens. The paranormal's always been fascinating to me ever since I was a child. From playing my first horror game when I was way too young, to watching super scary amateur ghost footage on YouTube, to accidentally catching glimpses of fire in the sky when I was way too young on TV when my parents weren't paying attention. These are the things that would cause me to have sleepless nights for way too long, weeks at a time, and are also the reason why I had a nightlight on my room till I was way too old for it. And now I've had a few interesting experiences over the years. I'm not a hardcore believer in the paranormal, but I do like the stories that come out of it. I think they're great fun, but it's also something I wouldn't exactly bet my life on existing, you know? You can call me like an agnostic in the paranormal field. I won't be sharing every single weird experience I've had, but I will be sharing the 4 big ones I've had in my life so far. And also, before going into it, a lot of these events are just things I find really unsettling and not something I know for sure how to explain. It's like, yeah, I understand a lot of these can have very logical explanations, but they're still fun stories in my opinion, so I'm gonna share them with you anyways. You're gonna have to watch it or just click on the video. Now let's set the mood. The Whisper. One night, when I was pretty young, me and my mom got into some kind of fight. I don't remember what it was about, I just remember she sent me to bed early. Angrily, I laid in bed, not really trying to sleep. I didn't have a Game Boy or anything at the time, so I just kind of sat there staring into space. A bunch of time passes when I noticed that the hallway light turned on, with light seeping underneath my door. I heard footsteps come to a stop. At this point, I figured my mom had come to speak with me, knowing that there was no way I'd be asleep yet. Shockingly, I did not want to talk to her as I was pretty mad that she sent me to bed, so before she could open up the door, I turned over in my sheets away from the door and closed my eyes, pretending to be asleep. I heard the door open and some shuffling around. It sounded like she almost got on her hands and knees and was crawling towards my bed. She would sometimes do goofy stuff like this for no real reason, but never when she was mad. I thought it was kind of strange and wasn't sure what she was doing, but I just lay there silently waiting for her to get to me. A couple of seconds pass. Nothing happens. Suddenly, as if she was mere inches from my ear, I hear, "Chris," whispered very loudly directly into my ear. I think she was testing to see if I was awake. I say, "What?" in an angry voice, wondering why she was being playful after making me suffer. No reply. I say, "What?" again, this time turning over and opening my eyes. To my surprise, no one was there. I jumped up in my bed and looked around. The hallway light was now off and my door was closed. I got up and walked into the living room to ask my mom why she did that. She angrily said to me, "I never did anything of the sort. Why are you out of your room when you're supposed to be in bed sleeping?" So I know what you're thinking. Probably I just dreamed that happening, right? I probably dozed off and I dreamed that had happened. But the thing is, I remember being very much so awake, and I don't remember anything like that ever happening, and that's what makes it so scary to me. Is it possible I did doze off? Of course, but I remember it so clearly in my mind that it really makes me think that I don't think that's what happens. Ghost orbs, woo! Oh boy! What kind of video would this be if I didn't have any live ghost recordings, right? I used to record a series for my channel a long time ago called Scary Sundays. I'd find a free indie horror game, normally a very bad one. I'd sit down and record myself playing it and upload it on, you guessed it, Mondays. If you didn't know, ghost orbs are when someone takes a picture or a video and there's a bunch of white orbs you couldn't see while the picture or video was being taken. Sometimes they're debunked as dust, other times they're not as easily figured out. The first video I have is from October 2012. I'm playing a Slender game. Yeah, I know, Slender, it was 2012, okay? When suddenly an orb flies right in my sight, yet somehow I didn't even notice it. It then comes on the screen again and goes behind me, never to be seen again. Until a video I recorded in January 2014, over a year later. Before I could even start the episode I was recording, I saw him again. The mysterious orb returns! And this time, he brought a friend or two. From behind me, one large and two smaller orbs fly by. I scrubbed through the full video files of both of these incidents and never found any other traces. Both these videos are in the description if you guys want to have a peek for yourselves. Now, are they bugs? I don't know. The first video, it almost looks like you could see wings, but how would I not have seen something so big fly right in front of my face? These videos were also both recorded at times where bugs aren't generally around in Canada because it's too cold. We also don't really have anything that big, white, and reflective like that. The biggest argument people normally have with orbs is that it's just dust flying in front of the lens, but you can clearly see in the second video that something flies behind me. So we know it can't be that close to the lens of the camera. Dead dog pays a visit. This is one of my all-time favorite stories to tell people. When I was around 9, our dog Tess had a brain tumor. She was rather old, so unfortunately it was time to put her down. Her favorite spot was underneath the dining room table, normally guarding her favorite chew toy. This little fact will be important in a bit. Fast forward a few months after her death, and we decided to get a new puppy and name her Jessie. For those that have experience raising puppies, you know it's hard to leave them alone and fear they'll destroy everything you've ever known and loved. So we dealt with this by putting her in a dog cage every night before we went to sleep. One night, it was getting pretty late and I was setting up her cage. My mom and sister were already long since asleep in their bedrooms, and my dad and both our dogs, including Jessie, were downstairs watching TV. I normally throw a few toys in Jessie's cage. She never played with them, but I thought, you know, why not? If anything, it'll give her some comfort. So I threw a few toys in there as I normally did when I came to the dining room table. There was a chew toy under it. I didn't think anything about it, so I picked it up and put it in Jessie's cage. Finishing up, I decided to go downstairs to tell my father I was ready to put Jessie to sleep. Not getting up from the couch, he just kinda gestured to me that he'll bring them up in a minute. So I decided to go upstairs to wait for them. Going back up the stairs, I looked in the dining room and saw the same toy I threw in Jessie's cage back underneath the table. Now, I was always one of those kids that was known for being mature and acting way older than they actually were. I was really good at keeping my imagination in check and tended to be as logical as a 9-year-old could possibly be. Even seeing this toy back under the table, I was spooked, but my first thought was, maybe I just forgot to put this in the cage. Even though deep down in my head, I knew that wasn't true. So I walked back to the dining room table, picked it up quickly, and threw it back in the cage, being a little spooked. Of course, I just had to tell my dad about this, so I went back downstairs and told him what happened. You know in cartoons when a kid tells a parent something serious and they go, yeah, sure kid. That's pretty much just what happened. My dad listened to my story and definitely didn't believe me. Thinking that maybe he was right, I decided to head back upstairs and lo and behold, the toy was back underneath the table again. The very same toy. This time, I was super scared. Somehow, I got the courage to run at the table as fast as I could. I picked up the toy and I whipped it in the cage and ran back downstairs and refused to go back up without my dad. Unfortunately, this is where my memory stops. I don't remember when we did go back upstairs for the third time, if that toy had moved back to underneath the table or not. But all I know is that twice was enough to convince me that something was happening here. Now, is it possible my mom or sister were playing a prank on me? I don't think so. It would have been a very weird and obscure thing to do. My sister would have been around 6 at the time, a little young for that, and my mom was pretty much always sound asleep by 10, with this event happening around midnight. Both dogs and my dad were downstairs, so unless I was just a little more creative than I thought as a kid, this is probably the biggest paranormal event I had happen to me in my life. I remember going to bed that night and promising to myself that this was real and I didn't make it up, and just to remember this event for the rest of my life and believe in myself that it did happen. At the time, I thought that it had to be the spirit of Tess letting us know that she was still there by putting her toy in her favorite spot. I don't know if that's what it actually was, of course, but all I know is it creeped me out a lot. The 3 whistles! This is by far the most clear incident I've had that I definitely know happened on 100%. Why do I know that? Because it happened very recently. In May of this year. It was a normal weekday night for me. Wasting time on Discord, checking Twitter, making up more fake ghost stories. You know, the normal stuff. Generally at around 10:30 p.m. is when I get up and start to get ready to go for bed, right? So I turn off my computer, I put my phone in my pocket, and turn off the lights on my way to the bathroom to brush my teeth. After about a minute into brushing, I suddenly hear 3 very distinct whistles sequentially from the other room as if someone was standing within speaking distance in my darkened kitchen. My cat, Moji, walked out from my bedroom and snuck a peek around the corner before turning around and running right back into my room. So I knew something wasn't right. After brushing my teeth, I worked up the courage for a couple of seconds and made my way into the kitchen in the living room. When I turned the corner, it was a demon possessing my YouTube channel, coming back to attack me for neglecting it so much and never posting. Thank God I had my sword on me. I battled it for 3 days and 3 nights straight. Okay, nah, I'm just kidding. Obviously, there's nothing there. In situations like this, I like to quickly figure out exactly what could have happened. This involved me checking to see if my windows were open or if my computer was left on still for some reason. Neither of these things were true, so to this day, I have no idea what this could have been. I did go back on Discord to leave a message shortly after this happened, so here's that. And I also did record the 3 exact notes I heard in my bedroom once I sat down because I didn't want to forget what it was. So this is another thing. I live in an apartment block, you could see my door right there. What you can say is, oh, maybe it was someone walking outside whistling. But the thing is, the walls are about like that thick of pure concrete, and even the door itself is about like that thick. It's very heavy duty. And the thing is, I hear people outside all the time, but what you hear is a very muffled version. In fact, I'll give you an example of exactly what I hear. So, the clarity of which I heard the whistles makes me believe that, no, I don't think it was someone outside. The only thing that could have been from an outside source is if one of my windows was open, which it was not, so I don't know what else that could have been. And there you have it. My scary, completely unexplainable ghost stories. Once again, I know I made a joke about it, making fake ghost stories, and I didn't make these up, these all actually happened to me. Do they have explanations? Maybe, probably, but maybe not. Who knows? It also kind of works against me. I realized that all these happened when I was a kid, and you could always say, oh, it's just your imagination acting up, but like I said, I was a pretty mature kid, and that's not just me thinking that as a kid. I had family always telling me that, wow, your son is very mature for his age. So I didn't really make up stories like that. But at the same time, I do understand that, yeah, that is still possible. But like I said, these are more just stories I enjoy telling. I think they're really fun to talk about. So whether you believe them or not, doesn't really matter.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video! Oh, I just realized I'm not even using a mic for this part. Whatever. You could just deal with the really shitty audio quality, right? So first of all, thank you very much for watching this video. Obviously, do the usual, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon if you want to help me out. I actually, if you couldn't tell by watching the video, this was actually supposed to come out last year. I recorded a lot of this last October, and then October 31st passed. I'm like, okay, I'm going to still do this. But turns out a Halloween-themed video goes very down on the priority list once Halloween actually passes. So it just kind of never happened until we looped all the way around to this year. Like, alright, now's the time I'm going to finish it. And I'm still a day late. It's coming out November 1st. Whoops. I'm recording this end part of the video at 1 a.m. on November 1st. So, yes. Most of this footage was actually filmed last year. But whoops, I thought I had recorded it all, but no, turns out it was not just a simple editing job. I had to record all the dead dog footage and all the orb stuff, although there wasn't too much stuff in there. It was mostly just grabbing stuff online and just throwing it in there. There's a few instances in this video, I had no idea what to put for clips, so I just used random stock footage. It's a little jolting when most of the video is me reenacting stuff and all of a sudden there's like a 4K dog in it or something. So, I tried my best. While editing the ghost orb section, it really made me realize, man, these really look just like bugs, huh? So, feel free to make fun of me for thinking bugs are ghost orbs because I'm pretty sure these are just some bugs that somehow managed to survive and just fly around. I don't know how I didn't see it fly in front of my face still. I have 2 videos that I'm currently trying to work on right immediately after this one. I have a Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrate review I've been trying to get done. It's all recorded, I just gotta edit it. So either that will be coming out next, or I also really want to make a video talking about Flash Player, because that's actually dying at the end of this year, and you may be like, what are you talking about? If you play like any games that like when you're a kid in school, those are mostly Flash, so all those are like going away. So I really want to make a video on that, and that's also time sensitive like this Halloween video, because as of December, like at the end of December, it's being disabled completely, and like the only way to be able to access it would be to do all this roundabout stuff. So, in other words, most sites that use Flash are gonna die. So, we're just gonna kind of have to play by ear. I'm gonna start editing the rehydrated stuff, but if it gets to a point where it's like, oh, I might not be able to get this Flash player stuff out, I'll probably work on that instead. So we will either see a SpongeBob video next or a Flash player video. Both of them, depending on who you are, might sound poopy. But trust me, it's gonna be great. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Love you all very much. Please, you can join the Discord. You can follow me on Twitter. Share this video on social media if you really want to help me. I know it's a big ask. You don't have to do it, but if you want to help me, you can do that. Yep, I'll see you guys later. Bye.